Ready?
Good. That's the perfect start.
I didn't know you were recording.
Yeah. We had to press record sometime.
Yeah.
How are you, Reed?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine.
Cool.
Okay. So I think this is a good place to start. Just don't wiggle in your chair to make the extra sounds.
Okay. I will hold still.
So this is our podcast.
Yep. This is Mouthsounds because we hate mouth sounds in podcasts because it's gross.
Well, mouth sounds in general.
Yeah.
Also, the website wasn't taken.
Yeah, so that worked out.
Yeah. And now that I've invested, I think $14.95 on the domain name.
Jeez.
Yeah, I think we're stuck with it.
Okay.
For the year. So mouthsounds.org is our webpage, and Mouth Sounds is the name of our podcast, which is where we don't talk about our feelings and talk about other things, which I guess brings up the fact that we thought a lot about what the title and topic should be for this podcast in which we do not talk about our feelings.
Yeah.
That domain name also wasn't taken, but
but it's wordy.
Yeah. So I'm Adam.
I'm Reed.
And Adam, am the dad.
I'm the son.
And we've been talking about this for a long time, so now we finally actually have like a script and
loosely
kind of yeah, that was generous to call it a script.
Yeah. So if it sounds really bad, that's why.
Because we're making it up. But that's kind of the nature of Mouth Sounds, is just to talk about things that aren't our feelings.
Yeah.
So this is episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
And episode 1 it's daunting because that's the worst episode of the Star Wars franchise.
Yeah. Just too bad. So starting off at the lowest point.
But Star Wars was actually started with episode 4, so maybe
we could rename this.
We could call this episode 4 A New Hope. That's a new hope. So our first episode, maybe we'll call it episode 4. And our idea was that we would just have a few different topics each time we met, and it would include a review and a few questions, and then some last words, and that would be it. I brought snacks too. Which
we will not eat because that's gross.
But they're here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm thirsty.
Ew.
At some point, we'll have to review who in our family has the worst mouth sounds.
Yeah. It depends on it's all pretty bad. It depends on the circumstance, though.
Okay, so for example, just so that we have this out, people are going to ask about this.
Yeah.
What's the circumstance in which a mouth sound is better or worse?
Well, there's just different levels of mouth sounds, like eating mouth sounds or drinking mouth sounds are really bad. Yeah, but then there's like bodily function mouth sounds, like you clear your throat sometimes, and so that's a mouth sound, which is annoying.
Well, I didn't need to clear my throat until you said that. Excuse me.
Look at those levels.
Yeah,
spiked.
We can see our levels on the screen, and now there's no question that my mouth sound clearing my voice was obnoxious. Okay, so there will be more about that later, and we can talk about how really mom's mouth sounds are the worst of the whole families, and it's not mine.
Sure.
Okay. Good. So our review of the week.
Black Widow.
The movie.
The movie, yeah. Just came out. So.
We got to see it in theaters.
Mm-hmm. July 8th, opening night.
Nice. Right after your birthday.
Yep.
It's a good birthday present.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen it twice.
Yeah. I saw it once with you and Mom, and once with Anna, my sister, for context.
Yeah, good. And I'll say, I think Black Widow is my favorite of all Marvel characters.
All of them?
I think so.
That's cool.
I mean,
I like her a lot.
yeah, I think maybe Bruce Banner. I mean, I certainly feel like a certain kinship with Bruce Banner, but
Well, yeah, you guys have the same story.
yeah, pretty much. Just, different versions of the same story.
Just physicists.
Right, with a with a rage management problem. But Black Widow's like I just always wanted to have her backstory.
Mm-hmm.
And I always thought there should be more time spent on Black Widow.
Yeah, I still want more of her backstory. Because this one was set after Civil War, Captain America Civil War. So we don't get her whole backstory. And I want more of that, like more of her story with Hawkeye and stuff. So I'm hoping maybe they'll make more. Or maybe make an Elena backstory and do more of that context. I don't know.
And I think that's where I think the movie didn't do everything I wanted it to. Now I'm worried that there's just not going to be any more Black Widow.
Yeah, which is sad.
And so I'm worried that they just missed some opportunity. But
yeah.
The movie was good.
Yeah, I liked the movie a lot.
I don't think I liked it as much as other people.
Why is that?
Well, so I think we talked about how the opening scene was it the opening scene of the original Avengers?
I don't know what you're talking
so
about.
So that scene where Black Widow is tied up to a chair and does this amazing twist and
yeah, she's escape. On the phone with Coulson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that. I just want a movie that's all that.
That'd be good. I'd watch that. I mean, there's some of that.
Yeah. But then there was also flying through the air, falling from a giant spacecraft kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. But that's kind of in every Marvel movie.
Yeah. So that was really good, but not like she could just be on a chair just kicking people in the head and doing backflips.
Yeah.
And wouldn't have to be flying through the air.
Yeah, but she's versatile. She can do all this stuff. She can fight people on a chair and on a giant aircraft falling from the sky.
It's a pretty good resume. So, was it everything you wanted the movie to be?
I think so. I didn't know exactly what was coming from it. I think going into it, I didn't know exactly when it was set and stuff, so I had different expectations about it that way. But I liked it a lot and thought it was a good thing, and I liked having all instead of having just one awesome female superhero, it was an entire cast of them, and so I thought that was fun.
Yep.
And cool. So,
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Mom said she thought all of the male characters were kind of, just
there.
Foils. Yeah, just doughy and goofy and kind of substandard, which kind of made the rest of the movie exciting for all the female characters.
Mm-hmm.
I did think that assistant that always got like a thing for her, like a
Oh,
plane
yeah.
or a camp or something. I liked him.
Yeah. I feel like they're hinting at stuff
Yeah.
for him.
He could be a whole other character.
Yeah, I don't even know his name. Just that British guy who sleeps and then she wakes him up and then he has a thing for her.
Right. Here's a
Helicopter.
right. Here's a Swiss Army knife. Here's a place to live. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So for context, like how does this match up with other Marvel Avengers universe kind of movies?
I think it's one of my favorites. I think as a standalone movie, it doesn't work quite as well because you kind of need all the context from like the previous Avengers movies and like the Civil War and stuff. So I think in that kind of aspect, I like the
The dog is whining in the background and wants into this room, but we thought it would be disruptive if she were in the room.
the door is open. She just doesn't open it because she's polite.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think as a standalone movie, I like Black Panther or Iron Man or the first Avengers more. But I think all of them together, I think it's a really good addition.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. It wasn't as good of an addition as I wanted it to be. But that, still, it's worth seeing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd see it again.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Do you know what's coming next for Marvel? Is there going to be a Hawkeye movie?
I don't know. I want there to be. I think the next movie is Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings, which is coming out in September.
Oh, right.
There are like the shows and stuff, like Loki just finished, and I think and then What If is coming soon.
What's What If?
It's a animated series of like each episode they're like, what if like Agent Carter got this serum that Steve Rogers got and she became Captain America instead. And so like each episode's kind of going into that stuff.
Oh, cool.
Like what if this thing was different?
Okay, I could
so
watch
it sounds
that.
good.
Yeah. And you just got me into WandaVision.
Yeah.
And I'm 3 episodes in
Mm-hmm.
and have just gotten from campy to like some kind of Stranger Things vibe of something goofy or creepy's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that one before, and I wasn't expecting to like it because I thought it was just going to be a sitcom thing and thought that was going to be kind of weird, but it's much better than just that.
Okay.
So,
Okay, so maybe that'll be a future review. And
yeah.
Now I've got 6 more episodes to watch.
Yeah.
Okay, so Black Widow, thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
More enthusiastic from you, I think.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so our next segment is questions.
Yep.
Since no one else asks us questions, we came up with questions for one another. And my question to you is, what do you like about your summer job at the coffee shop? And maybe for context, like you work at a coffee shop, I guess maybe that was already clear. Okay, so you can give as much context as you want. I'm gonna sip some tea.
Okay, I work at a coffee shop about 4 or 5 days a week during the summer when I'm not in college, and Yeah, I like it a lot. It's uh, a good way to just, I don't know, like make coffee and enjoy coffee.
Probably one of the best ways to make coffee is
Yeah,
at a coffee shop.
I make my own coffee for free. Um, and then, yeah, I think it's a nice way to have some level of interaction with people without having to actually interact with them. um, yeah, like, I don't know. Like, I get to have little tiny conversations with people all day. Um, but then have no other obligation with them, and then just kind of have like this nice connection with people and try to help them have a better day and make them coffee, and then yeah, so that's good.
But you don't really like just random small talk.
No, I don't.
So what's different about this?
There's like I think it's different when it's like a job and it's like someone is like I'm making them a drink or something, and then it's just they're just standing there, and so then like what's asking them about their weekend plans and stuff is different than, I don't know, going to like a family gathering or something and having a bunch of people just trying to make conversations because you have to. And so I think the obligation of knowing that it's going to be a short-term thing and just kind of learning something about someone and then they're gone is better than,
it's not going to get drawn out. You just have this little nugget of interaction.
And then if they come in again, then I know something else about them and can ask them about that, or so.
But you also have interactions like,
yeah, I also have weird interactions.
Yeah, the weirdos, and then like the weather.
Yeah, I talk to people about the weather about 50 times a day.
Yeah.
Which is also fun.
You don't sound convinced.
It's funny in retrospect, or like talking to colleagues about it or something, and just like every day people I think it's the first time I'm going to be having this conversation about that there's smoke outside, and that what plans are they going to make now that there's smoke outside. And then
for context, we're in the West where there's lots of wildfires and we're surrounded by smoke this summer.
And it's also hot outside, so people are, what do you do when it's hot outside? Yeah.
Yeah. They come in and get it iced something.
Or sometimes they still get a hot drink and then they're like, it's so hot outside. Why am I drinking a hot latte? I don't know.
They ask that.
You're paying me.
Out loud to themselves?
Well, they're like, because they say, oh, I get a 16-ounce latte or something. And I say, okay, would you like that iced or hot? And they're like, it's hot outside, but I'm still going to get it hot because I'm just a weirdo. It's just insane, I know. I'm like, eh. Yeah, lots of people still have hot drinks, and that's why I asked the question. So, yeah. It's fun.
Okay. I want to ask more about the weirdos, but I think there's a whole other episode for weirdos.
Yeah, that we can spend lots of episodes on that.
Okay.
Do you want me to ask my question?
Yeah.
So what made you choose to be an educator years and years ago when you were like my age?
So
I guess a little bit after.
Well, but maybe I was going to push back on that. So you're just 1 year through 1 year college.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was already starting to think I would want to teach. But I didn't, that's just hindsight.
Yeah.
Like I could have done lots of different things. Did you hear my stomach?
Yeah.
So mouth sounds and digestive sounds. But I think what I liked at first was that because I was studying physics and I thought I would go into engineering, and I thought as I was doing tutoring and stuff that I really, really liked explaining things, and I really liked understanding something in a new way so that I could explain it.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe especially because I didn't necessarily always hold court, or I wasn't always ever the center of some conversation, that I liked kind of having a place where I felt comfortable to know what I was talking about.
Yeah.
But later, it was much later, I realized I like people too. And at first when I went into education, like I was surprised when people, like I remember the class being asked, go around. I'm like, oh God, go around and describe why you're here in this education class. And this was in graduate school. And I remember all of these people like, oh, I just love kids. And I love working with children. I love working with people. And I'm like, you're all idiots. Like I don't, that wasn't at all why I was getting into it. And I said, I love, this is dumb now. But I said, I love physics and I really like explaining it. And then later I realized that wasn't really what it was all about.
Mm-hmm.
Which is good to realize now that I'm in it, because I guess I don't always like people, but I really like people in that place where they're learning something new, and I like being there with them in that.
Yeah. You like learners, not people.
Yeah, maybe. But I'm better at talking to students than I am to talking to most people, even if I'm just asking about their day.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's like the coffee shop.
Yeah, it's the context.
Huh. Yeah. Sometimes I feel not quite guilty, but I recognize that I'm at my best when I'm working with my classes, which means maybe I'm second best as a dad or anywhere else, but
That's not true.
well, I'm working on it.
Yeah. This feels like it's too close to feelings.
Oh, oops. Okay, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Now you have to think of another one for next time.
Yeah.
So do I.
Yeah.
So I was also thinking about what we should review next.
Okay.
I don't know if you had ideas. I know I've mentioned this, but I think because another one of our podcast possible topics or titles was fish and chips and root beer.
Yeah, because that's what I always get at any brewery. Just because I like.
Or pretty much any restaurant.
Yeah, any restaurant that has it, but especially breweries, because if they make their own root beer stuff, then that's another thing to review. Just kind of everywhere I go, I have a little bit of information about what their fish and chips is like.
So if you want the lowdown recommendation on the best fish and chips in the Intermountain West, Reed would be your person.
Yeah.
So I think we should get some fish and chips and review them.
Okay.
Maybe not eating during the podcast, but
Eat before.
before, so there are fewer mouth sounds on the Mouth Sounds podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else we want to say?
I think that's it.
Okay. So that's it. That's our first episode.
Or maybe the fourth.
Maybe the fourth. First episode, episode 4. Okay. Thanks for listening. Thanks, Reed.
Thanks, Dad.
Keep your feelings inside.
Will do.
Okay.